What's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to be talking about literature. In books, presentations, videos, and writings, the words and sentences often have an important message or meaning related to the topic. Today, I'm going to be talking about figures of speech. The two figures of speech that I will be reviewing today will be parody and satire. But before I start describing what parody and satire are, we need to figure out what they are supposed to be, which is a figure of speech. A figure of speech is a word or phrase that possesses a separate meaning from its literal definition. It can be a metaphor or simile designed to make a comparison. It can be the repetition of alliteration or the exaggeration of hyperbole to provide a dramatic effect. Figures of speech are all over the world, and they allow your work to be more interesting, creative, and eye-catching. Now that we know a bit more about the figures of speech, we will take a look at parody and satire. Let's start with parody. A parody is an imitation of a specific writer, artist, or subject in a way to make fun of or to comment on the original work. Parodies are often exaggerated in the way they imitate the original in order to produce a humorous effect. While parodies are often taken as jokes, they are not always about comedy and sometimes take on fairly serious subject matters. Parody, whether in literature, art, music, or other forms, finds something to ridicule within the original, either lightly or harshly. We use parody to add humor to the context we are giving, but also to criticize the work. It may not seem like so, but in a way, parody is all about judging certain points of the original work. It allows the writer to denounce and question the work without being aggressive or spiteful. Instead, they use comedy. This figure of speech is also used to exaggerate the situation, make it seem bigger, a lot bigger than it actually is. This makes the story more captivating and makes the reader capture the scenes in their heads easier. Parody allows the writer to give the audience a story with a sense of humor and a lighter take on a serious subject. The trick to making a parody is to play with the words and not make them too serious. Find something to critic, add humor, and make it your own. You also want to add exaggeration to the context. Make the situation impossible to realize nor logical to complete. Parody imitates and draws attention to certain details, characters, or plot points that are weak, silly, or strange. Point out something that is lacking in the text and embarrass the writer about it using jokes, puns, and comedies. For example, nowadays we literally need to wear a hazmat suit everywhere you go. Sanitize for 1 hour before leaving your safe bubble, 2 hours between places, and 3 hours after you get home. This is an exaggeration of the masks we need to wear and the precautions we have to take because of the pandemic. Parodies are all over the place, whether it's in books, in TV programs, or on shows. Here are some examples of parodies that I found which are used in literature and television. You can see that some popular movies and shows are on this list, including Harry Potter and South Park. There is also The Hunger Games and The Rick Mercer Show, which are great examples of what parody can be. Moving on from the parody is the satire. It is similar but different at the same time. Satire is a type of literature that uses wit for the purpose of social criticism. Satire ridicules problems in society, governments, businesses, and individuals in order to bring attention to certain follies, vices, and abuses, as well as to lead to improvements. Irony and sarcasm are often an important aspect of satire. They also use analogy, parody, and double entendre to highlight their points. Writers use satire to show foolishness or corruption in people, organization, or governments. For example, satire is often used to achieve political or social change or to prevent it. To teach a lesson to the readers about the problems of our society. It is used to show criticism and to bring our attention to a specific issue in the society of nowadays. When you are making a satire, you are mostly talking on a serious subject but adding a funny twist. Pick a satire that is subtle but also effective. This is an example. Everyone loves to wear the mask we wear. It is the best invention. I hope we are able to wear these for the rest of our lives. This is a satire because we are pointing out that masks are indeed not the best thing out there. They are annoying, and if we keep making the situation worse, we might actually have to wear them for a long, indefinite time. Influence your reader to feel comfortable to agree with your message, but not enough to ignore it. For examples, here are some satires that I found within shows and quotes. Talking about South Park, which is a show full of savage jokes that the characters make. A lot of satires are often said in quotes like the first example because it's the easiest way to get across your point very quickly. A lot of shows use satire to criticize politics and pop culture, just like the Last Week Tonight show with John Oliver. There is a lot in common between parody and satire, as they are both used to comment and or ridicule something in a culture that already exists. Satire, however, is less specific than a parody. It can deal with a wider range of problems in society. Parody treats when one author, style, or genre in which it changes the original. An audience must understand the original in which a parody is written to fully get the joke, as people would say. Still, many satires make use of parody to produce their witty or biting effect. To finish, here are some parodies and satires on popular movies, fast food restaurants, and big problems in the society. As you can see, the messages can be pretty harsh depending on the subject. Both figures of speech want to incorporate humor as they are able to find multiple ways to do so. That's going to be all for me today. Hopefully you guys now know what is a parody and a satire and the difference between one another.